What is up, everybody? Hello and welcome to another episode of This Week in Real Estate. I'm your host, Ray. Dan?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Wait a second. Sorry.
Are you there, Dan?
Yeah.
What's going on, man? You got a black screen here. It's like, we're going live. We're trying to do a real estate news show. Okay, now your camera. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Audio listeners, he's wearing a bulldog shirt in paying homage to probably Matt LaMarche, Julie Moon, those other bulldog fans.
I know you're my boy, and we've known each other a long time, but I told you on the show before, we have family and friends in the area, so they're super stoked. And I've actually coached a softball team that we went with this, and I know they're super happy, and we get lots of love from Atlanta. So here you go.
We do have a lot of Atlanta listeners and participants, which who are not here. They're not in the show yet today, but hopefully they'll pop by. We are, speaking of where these people are that we're talking about, they've been, we broadcast live in 3 different locations. So we're on Clubhouse right now. We're on YouTube and we're on Facebook. So we're on all 3 of those locations. And we'd love for you guys to join us. If you're watching us live, you could comment. And then when you comment, we could display that live and talk about you or your comment. You can also raise your hand and come up to the stage as we get into some of these news articles that I'll kind of give you a rundown in a second of what we're going to cover. You can comment on that stuff too. And if you are on Clubhouse, raise your hand, come up, talk about it. Give us your 2 cents. It's added. All of that audio is added to the podcast, which is kind of cool. And there's Ryan Bokros. He's joining us on Clubhouse. Thanks for joining, Ryan. Buddy? Good to see you. So let me give you a quick rundown. And we have a special guest today. Maybe should we add the special guest and then talk about the rundown?
Yeah,
because special guest and make people wait with bated breath. It's a big time guest.
It's a huge guest, and I think we should just let them know now so they know to stick, because they're not going to stick around for us, right? We know that.
All right, Adam Johnson said, "Is Clubhouse still a thing?" So he's joining us on something called Facebook, you guys. That a lot of people think
it's funny that he says, "Is Clubhouse still a thing on Facebook?"
On Facebook, is Facebook still a thing? Really?
Hi, Adam.
Thanks for joining, Adam. So Clubhouse folks, you got to make it known. You know, there's like 30 people here, so hit that little plus button and add some other professionals and show Adam that
if
Meta
it were
is
up
not
to
the only
me.
place.
I would say let's bring in our special guest now so people know what's up.
All right, let's bring in our special guest. Please welcome Kristina M. Smallhorn. Yay! Kristina Smallhorn of YouTube fame. Just spoke yourself in the face. Live on a show. Thanks for joining us, Kristina.
Before we go, Kristina, do you have a number, total views on your channel? How many followers do you have now?
165,000 followers on
165,000 followers for a real estate agent. And how many total views? Do you know? Do you have that number?
23 million
on her YouTube channel.
That's so much.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
I think so cool.
I think our total views with all of our videos, Ray, might hit 1,000 total views. I think.
Maybe. Yeah, I think I checked the other day. It was like 2,300. Oh, that's so good. Well, thank you for joining us today, because I'm really interested to hear your take on this. And it was really funny. I was going to bring in like another one that says like, oh, Adam says, what are your guys' numbers? Not 23 million. Our number.
Yeah.
I was going to bring on something talking about the death of tiny homes, but honestly, I couldn't find it. And we have so much news to cover. I wanted to get a fiery take from you on it, but we're going to talk today about the fear of even high mortgage rates, maybe heating up the winter home buying. And we could see that because the mortgage applications went way up. So we're going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
However, this headline is funny. Mortgage delinquency rates reaches pre-pandemic levels. Mm-hmm. Okay. So whenever like the art with this had like a swatch of houses or swath of houses and then red on the top and bottom.
Yeah.
And it sounds terrible. Mortgage delinquency rates reaches pre-pandemic levels. But this is actually not a bad thing. It's really funny the way it was written, though. Supply woes leaves new homes unfinished. So real estate professionals out there, has this happened to you? Lenders, has this happened to you? Where you're going towards like the final week or 2 weeks before close, and you walk into the new construction home and nothing's been done and it's just not finished. And they're weeks and weeks and weeks out from getting this thing finished. lenders are finding ways to close on these. And I wanted to hear from some lenders that watch us but we just had one that didn't have certain windows and was able to close too. So amid rising prices, American families are falling deeper in debt. There's a hike. There's another fee increase from FHFA. Realogy is it calls on NAR to eliminate commission sharing requirement. Whenever they did this, agents slammed Realogy. And so we're going to talk about this battle and what that really means.
Yeah.
In other words, Realogy, who is Coldwell Banker, Century 21, and others, are saying, hey, it's a requirement right now in the MLS that we divide our fee or split our fee with the buying agent. They want to get rid of that and essentially be able to list a property offering no commissions.
With just not have it in there yet, which this would require.
Not have it listed publicly or not have it in there at all.
They just how I read it is just not have it in there. Like I don't have it yet, but this to me would change contracts and everything because before it ever goes in the MLS, you got contracts in place already.
Yes, this changes a whole lot.
I don't know. Let's save it.
All right, and then we're going to talk about the agent's response to that. We'd love to hear your response to it. And there's a couple of new CEOs in town. So there's a new CEO for Rocket Mortgage. And then Adam Contos, friend of the show. He's been on our show before. He is the CEO of ReMax. He is now departing. So we're going to talk about that. And we will discuss the most powerful person in real estate. And I want to hear your guesses. No hints. I don't want to hint.
No, it's not one of us three. I know she's got 23 million views, but it's not one of us three.
I was fixing to say, are you sure? 23 million views is a lot.
It's pretty good.
Let's see. Jack Adridge. Hey, man. Never heard from you in a while. He says, corporate people screwing up the boots on the ground. Okay. Let's see. Dusty Martin. She says, what's up, Bearded Man? Hey, Dusty. And D Jones. I haven't seen you this year. She's joining us again. Hey, D. Andy Rose has a thorn. That's the problem with VA buyers. Oh, the unfinished construction. Well, good. I want to hear your take on this, Andy. All right.
Andy Rose has a thorn. That's cute. I like it.
Yeah. Andy Rose has his thorn.
He has to hate it. He has to.
I love it. Love it.
All right. So Melissa Marr, she's joining us too. She says, hey, Adam Johnson, Glenn Stanford. What? Isn't that the EXP guy?
Is he a point guard for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah. Oh, look, Julie Moon. She's on Clubhouse. I don't know if you're watching live, Julie, but if you're watching live, you will know that Dan is wearing a Bulldog shirt. It's not exactly the same Bulldog shirt as your Bulldogs, but he's wearing a Bulldog shirt.
Yeah. So. I told her in our yeah. Dusty's already get going. We got to get into this.
Yep, we got to get into this because I know you guys are chomping at the bit. All right, before we get into this, would you take just a second to tell everyone, including Kristina, what this show she just joined is actually all about?
I would love to. Now, when Kristina and I met here, I already messed it up. Damn it. When Ray and I met here on the interwebs, it's been a minute. We've known each other for a while. I had an idea for a show called The Bearded Men of Real Estate because I am, in fact, a bearded man of real estate. And when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
What's that, Daniel?
He currently has his entire videography set up on one pole.
One stand. Yeah.
So what you're seeing is all on one stand.
This is kind of crazy. So that's interesting, Dan, how you met me years and years ago and knew that what I currently have set up is everything on one stand.
Yep.
This is a test. So there's no better time to test than when you have a big guest like Kristina on the show with 23 million views. What do? We change everything and hope to God it works.
That's how we do it.
So I built this stand and I shot as I did it. It took me a little longer than normal because I filmed the whole thing from start to finish, all the problems that I had. And I got this idea from Caleb Pike, who is the DSLR shooter on YouTube, and Make Art Now, who's Josh Yo on YouTube. Well, he's Josh Yo, Make Art Now on YouTube. They did this YouTube on a stand. Kristina, have you seen these guys do this thing? It's awesome. So their video is probably way better than mine, but I had to add a couple of elements to what they had created in order to meet my needs, which is podcasting. So I wanted to
drop a link.
Yes. I haven't produced I shot the video yesterday as I was building.
The other dudes link.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll put both of their links in the description of the show. So anyway, I had to change it to where I could podcast, and then after the podcast, I could kind of fold that stuff up and then wheel it across the room and shoot video for real estate like normal. So yes, it's been a lot of fun. So thanks, Dan, for mentioning that. Eureka's joining us in the clubhouse. Hey, Eureka. But anyway, Dan, sorry.
But obviously, I noticed he's a beautifully bearded man. And what I also noticed that he loves giving value up front to not only his clients, but also just to humans in general. So the show's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
There you go. And we even more to know what in the world is going on. So that your client asks, well, we're thinking about selling this year, but we're not sure what supply is going to happen. What's going to happen with supply? Then you could tell them. So we wanted to create one place where you guys could come hang out for about an hour. We talk and wax poetic on the news. And then from that, you leave with some knowledge. Rising tide lifts all boats. Then everybody wants to pay us more because we actually know what we're doing.
Yes. And if you're wondering, Kristina, who's on my left on the show here, do you do it every single Sunday? She picks
every Sunday
a hot topic and then they go.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's usually destroying headlines like you just read. Like I read the headline and then the next thing I say is like, this is how they get you to click. Because it's all horse shit.
There's a beat somewhere. I don't know where. Sorry. This is part of so we've also been talking about how we'll eventually have sound effects on the show, and we do, but they're like right now they're just the sound effects that come with it. So I'm looking.
They're not good yet. Yeah.
They're not.
You should have a time delay with my potty mouth. I'm sorry.
There is a way to do that actually on the audio.
I know.
We can't do the live, so I don't know how to do all that stuff. But yeah, you guys go check out Kristina's channel. We're also going to put that in the description. We'll put it towards the top so you guys can find that. She's super wicked on YouTube. She's got tons of real estate knowledge, in part because she watches the show.
I do every week. I do. Like you guys do my research for me. That is no lie. When you pull out a topic, I'm like, oh, I'm so talking about this on Sunday, and then I get your hot take on it, and then regurgitate it.
We totally do that. We tell people all the time, like, hey, here's a great story for something for you to share on Instagram, YouTube. So take everything you hear here, create your own show, tag us. We'd love to see it. So good on you, Kristina. Thanks.
And by the way, no,
I totally steal it.
She does it way better than us.
She just does it way better than us, which we're fine with. But Ray, just keep a mental note. We got to come back to Dusty's comment, and Mia has a really good comment that she wants to come back to as well. So
yes, for sure.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia. Let me go. All right.
Ready?
Let's do this. Kristina, are you ready? Do you know this? Wayne's World? Have you ever seen? Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I do it every week. I stole this from you too.
You did? Let's do it then. All right. That's the key to 23 million views, guys. Just copy.
Rip off the bearded man.
Yeah, a lot of people have done it. We're not happy about all of them, but we're really happy about Kristina.
Really happy about Kristina's.
I end all my live streams that way.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, I do this, and then I go.
We're gonna have to add something then that we know she wouldn't copy, but if she did, would be epic.
But you don't know me. I would do it anyways, just to say this is for the bearded men of real estate.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's bring up our first article. Let me do the share screen thing. Oh, I'm also playing with a new setting. Used to, as soon as I would share the screen, it would show to everyone. So now I'm going to try to make it to where when I share the screen, I have the option. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, for those of you just joining us, Ray has an entirely new setup. Not a little bit new, brand new, and he's learning how to produce on the show as we go right now.
Melissa Mars says, Dan, you're so bright today. I don't know. I think the exposure is about normal.
I think
maybe she's saying you're smart.
Oh, you're smart. Okay.
Maybe she means smart because usually I'm not that smart.
All right, fear of even higher mortgage rates may be heating up the winter home buying.
Okay, Ray.
Yeah.
I need to stop you right there. Right to start off. Like, the fear, like the top of the headline, fear. Like, is it really fear? Are people out there freaking out? And I'd love to hear comments, or if anyone's on Clubhouse, are your clients going, oh my God, dude, I am afraid that rates are at 3.3%. Oh my, I'm fearful. I am afraid, Ray, I need to buy a house now. Or is it just people that waited through Thanksgiving and Christmas starting to buy now? And I know I usually wait till you get through it, but this headline pissed me off. This one's stupid.
Dan, the news says fear. So I'm going to go with what the news person says.
And so everyone's afraid.
Fear.
Dude, they gotta click.
Mortgage rates.
What? They gotta get clicks.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. I mean,
that's how they get paid.
This is it. This is how advertisers pay. You get more clicks, you get more advertising dollars. This is how it works.
We need to put
it sucks.
We need to put some horror music in the background or something. Wait, hang on. This is terrible. But wait. Fear of even higher mortgage rates. Maybe eating at the window. Sorry.
That's perfect. I love it.
It's actually one sound effect that was apropos. Okay. So let's talk about this. Mortgage rates have moved to their highest level in more than a year. That may have had potential home buyers nervous that their affordability window is closing faster than expected. Home prices are still gaining, and winter is historically the slowest season for the housing market, but mortgage demand from buyers moved higher. Last week, this is the key for us, the purchase loan application volume rose 2% compared with the previous week. So, of course, a massive rush to the lender in the amount of 2%. Compared with the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association seasonally adjusted index. Applications were still 70% lower than the same week a year ago.
Come on,
can I just say one thing? The first thing they said was that they're fearful that now a home won't be affordable. Now it won't be affordable. Not the fact that the home prices have risen like 20% in the last year. That's not it. No. It's that little microscopic amount of interest that it's going to accrue now. Now it's unaffordable. That's it. They checked out. Give me a break. Give me a break. So stupid.
Justin with a throwback to last week's show says 1 week later, I'm still fearful of zombies. Yes.
I love Justin. That is one of my favorite people right there. Justin, he is such a good person.
And he's super hot.
Oh, I know, dude. I had him on my show. I was like, wow. Does he use contouring?
Does he do he's been on our show too, but I don't know if we can have him again because he was way too good looking. I gotta lose
it's way too much. We love you, man, but it was too much.
As far as bearded men,
that Canadian charm.
There you go.
He lays it on. Hey.
Let's see. Let me see if there's anything else in here. Here's a quote from one of Dan's favorite people, Joel Kahn. He's the Mortgage Bankers Association economist. He says mortgage rates increased significantly across all loan types last week as the Federal Reserve signaling of tighter policy ahead of the U.S. push Treasury yields higher. That's convoluted. The housing market started 2022 on a strong note. Both conventional and government purchase applications showed increases, with FHA purchase applications increasing almost 9%, VA applications increasing more than 5%.
That sounded like a lot of wah, 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 wah,
wah, wah, wah. Yeah, it's up. Basically, it's better. Housing is better. It kind of depends, I guess.
It depends on the person you ask.
So we talked about this on our prediction show at the end of 2021, and one of the things I predicted was that as rates continue to go up, you're going to see a mad dash from buyers, quote unquote. There's a crystal ball. Ooh, I've got to get one.
Yeah, it's my prediction. Yeah.
I think that it'll drive buyers into the market that have been kind of on the fences saying, yeah, we'll buy. I think they'll start to see rates tick up and then jump into the market. And we predicted that it would be a small amount, but a significant enough amount to report. So there's early evidence already this year that is coming to fruition. Now, the Fed, if you have not been following those news stories, they announced 3 rate increases for 2022, which they haven't done in years. So I think that is what is kind of spurring people on as they see that rates are actually going up. Jason Bates says, question for Dan. How will the AB 1400 CalCare affect housing in Cali?
It won't.
What does that mean?
We don't know the code that y'all are using, Jason Bates.
It's healthcare for all, essentially. So it's government run. So his question is going to be government. It's because it's government run. So
taxes.
So more taxes. So I don't really like that part.
Can I restate it more sensationally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fear.
Question for Dan. Will the AB 1400 CalCare continue to have a mass exodus from California and other states?
It will continue the mass exodus from California into every other state, is my hope. This is why I pushed for it. I think she snorted over the I forgot which comment, but no, it won't, but it's a totally separate thing. But I think what he's driving at is that it's more taxes.
Yeah.
But it's 160. I think they got 163 million. We have a debt, but I think, what's the country in debt now? 782 trillion or something. What's
still numbers.
Yeah. So anyway, I think what he's asking is because of taxes, but no, I don't think it'll affect it. I think it's a good idea in theory, but once again, politicians have, mucked it up because it's their job to muck things up. Instead of agreeing on things that are good for people, they like to fight amongst themselves. So no, I don't think it'll affect it too much, but we will see.
We will see.
Yeah, because I do agree. Like, there's no way that someone should go in. I broke my elbow and now I have $50,000 in hospital debt. That's an issue to me.
I want to go into the clubhouse room real quick. Do any of you have thoughts on these home buyers? Are you guys seeing home buyers rush into the market right now, or is it just kind of the same steady stream that you're seeing? Does anyone?
Not from fear. They're trying. My group of people are looking for more affordable options, so they're just grasping onto every headline that says the market is crashing, it's a collapse. That they're so looking forward to that. So most of them now are like, they decided that they can't afford a house, so they're just going to buy a piece of dirt and build something. That's where it's headed for my group.
And where are you?
Louisiana.
Yeah.
We could rephrase it, and it could say excitement of continued low mortgage rates. Maybe eating up
that wouldn't work. No. It's negative connotation headlines create more clicks.
Yeah.
So I have more buyers.
I have a successful YouTube channel because I use that crap.
So it
says there's talk of them placing an additional tax on homes over a certain value in addition to property taxes.
It depends. Because we have the Melrose and all this stuff on all the new construction. So if it's going to be on new construction stuff, it would kill new construction, which is already pretty much dead. So I don't know.
And someone tried to come up in the clubhouse and I tried to bring you up, and now you're gone. Oh, I guess you just left.
Okay. I brought Mia up.
With someone else.
Mamma Mia.
All right. Does anyone want to talk about what's going on with you and buyers? Are people excited? Flash your mic. If not, we'll just go into the next article.
Well, I have more buyers coming back, but it's just
Eureka
does, but they're just coming out because it's like what I said at the beginning of the article. It's just through the holidays. Now they're ready to get going.
Right. All right, Eureka, what's up? You're one of my two favorite C's. So thanks for joining us. What's up?
So no, for us, it may feel that way. Buyers.
She's low, Ray.
The reason is because there's nothing for them to see. There's only so many open houses. Like on our tour sheet this week, there's like 7 houses. There's nothing for people to see. There's no inventory in our area. So in any house that is available, yes, buyers are rushing it.
Oh, interesting. Well, so it continued inventory crisis then. So they're there. They want to buy, but they can't. Well, it looks like the crash bros are wrong too, because everyone said that the market would eventually crash. And whenever the market would crash, like, all those YouTubers that were putting fire over all the thumbnails, Kristina.
Hold on. Let me just explain to you. When I did my housing crash videos, that's when we had like 7.6 million people that signed up for the mortgage forbearance plan. To me, that number was alarming, right? Okay. That was an alarming amount of numbers. Once the moratoriums kept going on, I changed my content. And as a matter of fact, I made a video that said the big housing crash lie. And I outed myself for being wrong.
Can you put on the thumbnail, Ray was right? Can you?
No, because my audience love to hate you. So that was perfect. So I left it.
you totally need to put on there. Ray was right. Because if you remember, we went live. I went live on your show too. And we had a heated conversation about it. I was like, no, it's not going to happen. You're like, yeah, it's going to happen. What is that barking? Who's barking? Danny,
that's me. I have gas. Sorry.
It's really consistent.
Yeah, it's really right on.
I'm really magical. That's what happens with 22 million.
On the dog. That's what happens. All right, so let's go to the next article too, because a lot of people, including all the people that were like, "Oh, the market's going to crash," they were like, "Well, hopefully, if the market does crash, it'll add inventory." Mortgage delinquency rate reaches pre-pandemic levels.
Nothing.
It's just nothing. So mortgage delinquency rates hits pre-pandemic levels in October due to labor market improvements and home equity increases, according to the most recent CoreLogic loan performance report. The expectation is that rates will continue to decline in 2022. In October, 3.8% of mortgages were delinquent at least 30 days, including foreclosures, close to the 3.7% rate registered in the same period of 2019. So pretty much exactly what one of us was saying is happening. That's cool. I like that. I like where this is headed. That's the news.
Hey,
there.
at least I have enough cojones to say, guess what? I was wrong. You know,
unlike
like
Susie
a lot of people
Orman.
a lot of people double down on that garbage.
You actually did the Susie Orman thing after I did too, and also disagreed with her because what she was saying, even the people like you had a moderate approach. You were not like, oh, the market's crashing, we're dying. You had a pretty moderate, like, hey, if it does, here's how it's going to happen and all that. So your take on it, I actually respected more than a lot of people like Susie Orman that was like, your home will be worth half in December that it is right now.
Stupid.
That was so
dumbest thing. I'm like, does she not even know the basics of real estate? Like, obviously not. Like,
let's see. Someone said that the Clubhouse audio has died.
Like currently or when Eureka was talking?
Is it there now?
I don't know how.
I see it's like a steady on right now. Hang on, we're trying to figure it out.
Bring Eureka, Ryan, or Mia back up. Justin's on too.
They're all up there still on my screen.
I know, but I think he just means the audio, the signal coming through.
Can you say something on Clubhouse? We'll see. We'll test it. Nothing like a live test.
Ryan flashed. Have Ryan go.
Ryan, say something on there. Yeah, I don't hear him either.
Ron.
Crud. All right,
his mic didn't go off though when he tried to talk. There we go.
No, it didn't.
Maybe it's a Clubhouse thing.
Weird.
They can get it wrong too.
Yeah, love Clubhouse sometimes. All right, let's see if that works now. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me now in there?
I hear you now.
Oh, okay, there. I hear you too. Okay,
we're
back. So I guess my phone just froze or something. Sorry about that, guys. All right.
Don't let it go to sleep.
Yeah, no doubt. I have had it plugged in. So with the new audio setup, I actually will not lose battery because it's plugged in here. So there you go. All right, sorry about that. Thank you for letting us know, Justin. Okay, so that's basically it as far as it goes on the crashing mortgage delinquency. It doesn't look like it's going to happen due to the forbearance. It doesn't look like it's going to happen due to foreclosures because those who are in trouble can just list it and sell it for a lot more than they own.
Well, can I make one last point?
Yeah.
The serious mortgage delinquency rate, 90 days or more past due, including loans in forbearance, dipped 19 basis points year over year to 2.2%.
Oh.
So that's
like how many are in forbearance right now? How many total?
It's low.
The last time I looked, it was like right under 800. It was under $1 million. It was like 800 and something thousand. I haven't looked at a couple months, so I was just interested to know how many are in forbearance now, because I was tracking that throughout the whole entire year because it was like 4 million, then 2 million, then because that's what the other gurus, the YouTube real estate gurus, were like, all millions of people, and I'm like, it's half what it was a month ago. What are you talking about? Millions of people are still in forbearance.
Yeah. It was, I can't find, I just did a quick search, but September 20th, it was 1.6 and it's less than that. So I think it's half of that. I think it's about 800,000.
That's what I thought too. That's the last time I checked, it was about 800.
Good times. We're here. We're just debunking it all today, dude. Let's
debunking it all. That's what you have
to
do.
But nobody wants to hear the debunking stuff. Like the non-real estate people are like, you're wrong. You're wrong. The biggest channels that have blown up in the past year are literally people that are saying collapse, bubble, bust, all those keywords that make people go, oh my God.
And I hate every single one of them. I honestly do.
Well, we're definitely going to do it. So next week we'll have to do something about the bubble busting and why. And then
let me help you with your title.
Yes, I'm going to let you. I'll just send you our photos and you can make the art.
No. No, I will not do that.
No, she approved of today's thumbnail.
She did approve today's thumbnail. I think
I only gave you 60 profile pictures to choose from.
That's true. It worked. Okay, so let's go to the next story. Unfinished houses. Is this showing up in your market, Kristina? The whole Builder has this house. It's basically, it's got boots in the window. Come on.
Well, we have a unique situation here in my specific area because we have a construction moratorium, new construction moratorium. Unless they were under construction already, you cannot build new subdivisions. So, no, we're not seeing that because they have to finish what they got, but they can't build anything new anyway. So,
that's interesting. So a construction moratorium, you got to finish what you got before you start something else.
Well, the problem is our infrastructure is, I don't know if anybody knows anything about Louisiana infrastructure. It's dog poop. It's not good. It's never been good. And it's causing a problem with our roads. They're crumbling around all these brand new subdivisions, and they're having a lot of problems with flooding in older neighborhoods every time they put a new subdivision in. So they're having the engineers rework some of this stuff and get this
funny.
fixed.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that. I'm sorry.
It's like it's funny in the fact that like everybody knew that this was going to happen when once these subdivisions were approved, and everybody blew it off. But I don't know whose problems got greased in the situation. Somebody did, and then all of a sudden the phones come up.
Politician, though.
No.
Louisiana doesn't have crooked politicians. You are crazy. That is insanity.
Documentary on Louisiana politics.
Yes. Yes, and it was all about like there's one whole thing about the opioid crisis in Louisiana and how we just kind of just
wasn't that a movie too? In the with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
We're good like that. We can make some great films.
Here's the next one then. All right, so supply woes leave new homes unfinished. Supply chain backups for materials continue to hit new home market, causing some new owners to have to move into unfinished homes. So this is my question. How do lenders manage this? I've only heard one lender figuring this out. So I'd love some interesting takes on this. If you've had this happen, or at least comment if you're watching this on the replay. Let us know how this is happening. How is a lender getting someone into an unfinished home?
And what kind of loan do they have? I want to know what kind of loan they have for them to do it.
Yeah, that's my curiosity. The shortages have been occurring since the pandemic began. Home builders say there's been little improvement, still taking weeks longer than normal to finish homes. So I went to a new construction walkthrough yesterday, one of the top builders in the area. They're really, really good. And they have all their materials sitting in a warehouse, basically. And my buyer wanted another door. And they said, okay, if we put a sorry. Yeah.
Way to go,
that's
Ray.
Really loud.
Good job, Ray.
How do I not get a call during the show? I got to figure that out later. Sorry about that.
Turn your moon on. Like, do you have an iPhone?
Oh yeah, I got it. Just
turn the technical terms right there. Turn your moon on.
Do not disturb.
Turn the moon on.
If that works. All right, the moon is on. We'll see if that fixes it.
Airplane mode should do it.
But airplane mode will kill the Wi-Fi too, won't it? Or the cell signal.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So sometimes my Wi-Fi cuts out, and my only backup is the cell signal. It's stupid.
Right.
So anyway, I was at this walkthrough yesterday, and my buyer wanted to add a door, and it was a little bit taller than a normal door. So it was one that they would have to order. He said, yes, we could totally do that. It'll be about 14 weeks for us to get that door in. As 14 weeks, that's 3.5 months. It's kind of like whenever someone has a baby that's like 4 years old, but instead of saying 4 years old, they say 48 weeks.
Right.
Like just say 3.5 months. But yeah, it's still back up. Somebody keeps messaging me on. Don't message me. Raise your hand. I'm not going to say that. Raise your hand. I want you to say it. I know you're down there. I see you. Raise your hand. You can come up.
I see
you. All right. So Dan, are you seeing unfinished stuff sit around, or are you guys able to hammer that out pretty quick? What's going on?
No, I'm seeing stuff because a lot of the stuff I see, I don't do a lot of new construction. Just, I don't know why it's so different. I think it's mostly because of the Melleroos and the HOAs, and it just gets so expensive, but I don't see a ton of new construction as far as just my business goes. But I do visit them every now and then, and I see a lot of smaller stuff popping up, and it seemed like that they were just on hold for a long time. But now over the last couple of months, things are finishing quickly. So, it seems like they're getting there quickly, but these are small developments. I'm talking like 4 to 24 houses, like small.
I don't think it's getting there quicker. I think they're adjusting. Like one of the things, like if you want any changes in a house right now, you're not going to get it.
Dan, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What forgive my ignorance. I don't know the word or Melrose. What is
Melrose.
that?
It's a drink.
It's a
Melrose.
Have you
it's
ever
a
had
special
Melrose?
assessment
It's a great
tax. It's just California. So in 1979, I believe it was, or maybe 80, 81, they put a cap on how much your property taxes could go up every year here in California.
Okay.
That's a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So literally 2 dudes named Mello and Roos came up with this idea, like, well, let's do a special assessment tax for all new construction. So it wasn't super prevalent in 80s and 90s new builds, but in early 2000s, all of a sudden you start, and these special assessments last for 25 to 35 years before they fall off of the house. And what they're technically in place for is, okay, well, hypothetically, I'm going to build in a brand new area where there's no supermarkets, there's no fire departments, there's no police departments. I'm going to have to get funding for this up front. And they're called CFDs, or community facilities districts. I'm going to have to get, loans up front to build this stuff. So that's how they technically said they're going to supply it. But how were they building new construction homes before this? They didn't have Melrose. So there's literally in 2 different cities, Bell and I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'll come to it in a minute, but they've literally city officials have been found misusing these funds, where they're walking around with 2 different Rolls Royces, huge houses, because you got to think about it, like Beaumont. Sorry. So in one area in Beaumont, you can still buy a house for $350,000, $450,000, or 400 grand and get a big house with some land. But the reason these prices stay low is because the taxes on it are 2% on the house alone. So you buy, a $400,000 house, you're going to pay $8,000 a year to own this house. So it's going to, that has to be part of your loan and all that stuff as well. So you got to think like, and that's on top of their normal property taxes. So, and Beaumont isn't super desolate or super out there. It already had all these things. So they just, if the main, older construction's here, then new construction's here. There are some areas where it was 6 exits until you get to a Vaughn's and all that stuff. But like those things were all coming. And I mean, these officials, 6 people are in jail from Beaumont because they misused these funds. So to me, it's a racket, but also, and again, I don't know why I don't do a lot of new construction. I think it's partially because I don't like new houses. New houses are boring. Here in California, they're all the same over and over and over again. They're not even, they're 3 different models, reversed and flipped and different. They put different faces on them. One looks like Craftsman, one looks like Arizona, one looks like, you know what I mean? It's boring to me. So
the
maybe
floor plans are all about the same.
Part of it is probably my my predisposition against new construction, but I just don't work a lot of new construction. Also, I think part of it is that if you have a house, you want to buy it for 500 grand and there's 2% property taxes on it, and there's an HOA because it's a PUD, it's a planned unit development. I could have bought $1 million house for my $500,000 house. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
So I apologize. Sorry. I know I ran.
The Wikipedia
No, I didn't. Thank you.
That it circumvents the earlier ruling. So yeah, that's basically circumvents Proposition 13. So it's exactly what it's doing.
Yeah. So
interesting.
But
I'm trying to bring up a couple of lenders. Paul, Paul, I see your hand raised. I've tried to bring you up. I know you're a lender.
Yeah.
Mortgage strategist. Also tagged Ron Bruno, but I'd love to know if there's a way, let's say you have a conventional loan or something like that, new construction home, everyone still wants to close even though some stuff's not done. What do you guys do? Especially if they can move in, right? They can move in, but maybe they don't have a couple of doors or a couple of windows or something like that. They can put boards on it. What do you do? So the only time I've heard of this happening and having a successful close is that someone installed basically a black window into the house. And it was like there was like an opening ready for a window that had to be for that, but it was back ordered. They couldn't do it. So the construction wasn't finished. The loan said, well, you got to put something there. So they basically made a faux black window and just inserted it. And that was it.
I mean, you're essentially doing a construction loan on a new construction house if it's not done when you want to move in, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I had this year though. I did hear of a family that was able to move in without kitchen cabinets, which I thought was
That's
weird.
interesting. Yeah.
That was this year.
I mean, if
No, I
it's
mean,
part of
well,
the
20
contract
21.
that it's gonna be
Right.
in
That's
there,
what they had to do the addendum that it had to be in there. And I think
yeah,
there was like a hold on X amount of dollars and the builder wouldn't get paid until that was completed.
yeah, because you're
Justin said, "You sit on a throne of lies. Politicians would never misappropriate funds." He said, "Okay, facts though. City officials declining new developments to satisfy a voter base is criminal. They literally tell builders they're down with the project. They need to turn it down for votes." Wow.
that's
Dusty Martin's chiming in. She said, "We can't even get permits approved in time. I have one community I've been watching for 6 months, applied for building permits in September, just got approved after January 1st. So they have been moving dirt back and forth and watching the sunshine on the lot for over 8 months, including prep time before applications for the models were submitted." And then
I
everyone's
wonder,
like, "Oh,
Dusty, where you at?
She's in Arizona. Yeah, Phoenix.
Arizona, yeah.
But everyone wonders, what is the problem with supply? If there was a way to cut a lot of this red tape stuff out, that would be phenomenal. I mean, everything would go
bureaucracy.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, what is really going on? And this is way above my pay grade because I don't understand supply chain. I just don't get it. But like, is it really? Because we've been dealing with this Rona situation for a while now. Like, manufacturers had figured out how to get back to making stuff. Yeah. Suppliers have figured out how to deliver stuff. So at this point, dude, I ordered new gaming headset the other day. It got here in a day. So someone has figured out how to fix the supply chain, and it's called Amazon. So why are these builders or why are these suppliers still saying it's tough to get there? Is it because we can't deliver it or we can't keep up with supply, or is it because they figured out how to pass these costs, quote unquote, onto the consumer, which is me when I want to buy a new house?
Maybe some of that is that. But I will say that construction and home building is one of the slowest moving archaic systems that we have when it comes to building a house. They do not have the wherewithal to get to on an Amazon level. They're just not even close. They don't have, their operating systems are nowhere near where they should be for supply chain issues, and they haven't been way before the pandemic. And they're getting their butt handed to them because they don't even know how to handle what's going on at all. Not even remotely.
Okay. Well, you want some wood? Yeah, that's kind of what we have here.
Yeah, because they could have a whole, like, I mean, there was tons of people showing videos of like, look at this yard full of wood and look what they're doing. They're holding it back to make the commodities high. I'm like, dude, it's not that. They don't know what to do with it now that they have so much wood. They don't have anybody to ship it to the people that need to get there. Yes, it's there. Find the truck to put it on. They don't know what to do. They're overwhelmed with what has happened. They can't get it together. They don't have the right systems.
Ryan makes a good point.
Ryan Bookross, I see you flashing your mic. What's that mean?
Hey, I think just it's in layman's terms, I guess the answer to Dan's question is a lot of these big buyers buy in bulk too. And so when things went haywire and they weren't buying futures because things were so ridiculously expensive, they got behind on their bulk orders. And so if you look at it from that standpoint, they're missing out on 30,000 feet of, lumber that they didn't buy 6 months ago that they should have because they were priced out of the market. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Whenever you're buying in bulk and everything goes astronomical, now you're behind and you've already had, foundations put down. You've already had lots prepared. You've already had that stuff. So now you're trying to order but you would think that the suppliers would be like, well, this is probably going to happen. But I guess maybe the suppliers were watching Susie Orman's Everything's going to crash.
And I get that. But have you ever seen the meme of the three Spider-Mans pointing?
Home prices.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that's why you didn't see new home prices come back to sea level as quickly as lumber was, right? Or some of these construction supplies. When you saw prices coming back to sea level to some extent, construction materials, if you will. We didn't really see that in the price of the finished products because these guys were still paying for, future invoices that they bought 6-9 months ago when they paid astronomical prices. So,
yeah. What were you going to say, Dan?
It does feel a little bit like, though, and again, from my inexperienced point of view, the meme with the 3 different Spider-Men pointing at each other, like, no, you, no, you, no, you.
Adam Johnson says his favorite kitchen cabinet suppliers 4 months out on new orders. Builders had their stuff together 2001 through 2006. Yeah, and then
they didn't have a supply chain problem.
So what's interesting about that is, I think even in the downturn of the market, there were a lot of builders that were reluctant to continue to produce at those same levels because they had been so bitten in the past. And I said this last week on the show, but when we were down to like 3 months of supply, everyone's like, okay, builders, you got to build. And they were like, maybe not. Then when we were at 2 months of supply, it was like, man, builders can't even keep up. And they're like, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait and see. Then 1 month of supply, and they're like, okay, we're going to start to build. If you remember, housing starts were up 13% right before the pandemic. In that pre-show that we did, actually the pre-pandemic show that we did. And then bam, that happened. And then it all goes out the window and they're already behind.
But look at the trajectory of new home builds since 2001 through 2006. That was on an upward, like there was more and more new home builds being built at that time than any other time in history.
Yeah.
Right when the crash happened, I mean, there were tons of builders that lost their rear end, and a lot of them went out of business. And we have never, ever, ever reached those levels where we needed to be again. Like all these builders are like, you know what? Nope, I'm going to make my 100 homes and that's it. Not going to do one more, not one more. Can you blame them? A lot of them.
I was going to say, I
money.
can't blame them. I mean, I would probably be in the same boat.
Yeah, forget that.
Okay. For whatever, did y'all notice that Ryan's audio went to the left ear? Did that happen to y'all? Could y'all tell that? I don't know.
I only have the left ear, and so
it was really interesting. Ryan's audio, I was watching the levels, and for whatever reason, it switched from normal just to the left ear. So maybe that's some of the spatial audio that.
Yeah,
I thought you were doing that 8K thing, like where it wraps around your head.
8K audio. Here we come.
We're doing some Pink Floyd type producing here.
I had a couple of people that joined us real quick. I want to see if you guys want to say anything. Courtney and Kathy, flash your mic if you're there. I'll come to one of you. All right, Courtney's there.
Hey, it's Courtney. So as far as with the supply chain too, what I'm seeing here in South Carolina is that all these manufacturers had built years ago the higher quality wood, and that's what they were stuck with. So the lower quality was not coming in as quick. And then you have all these builders that are, penny pinching, and then they're stuck. So that's why a lot of our new construction, which I've stayed away from, keeps increasing as it's being built, and it really sucks. That's why I've been staying away from it.
Interesting.
I will say, if you go on TikTok, there are numerous videos of people showing either whether they're home inspectors or whatever, showing new construction as they're walking through. They're like, this is a brand new constructed home. Look at this foundation. And they're like literally kicking and it crumbling underneath it, but they're still continuing to build the house.
Oh my goodness.
I sent a story to Ray. There's a mega mansion that was just completed in LA.
Oh, yeah.
It's listed at 235 or 255 million, something like that. It's 100,000 square feet, 22 bedrooms, 42 bathrooms. It's got its own golf course. It's got its own, 3-bedroom house with its own infinity. It's got insane things. But this house has been being built for like the last 10 years, full of drama. And there's like mold in it. There's foundational issues. And they're still expecting to get 250 million for this house.
Well, it's supply, Dan.
Yeah.
This is a good point. Speaking of that, it's kind of right along with what Adam says, in a less extreme example, but builders were building to the median, just above median homes, condos, townhomes. Builders are now building 50% above median. Interesting. He cites a source right there too.
Is Jan on? He's in LA, I think. If he's on Clubhouse, can he speak to any new construction stuff? Does he do new construction? Just to give you guys a different new construction point of view from California.
Jan, if you're in a place where you could talk, flash up, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, I see you. Go ahead, Ben.
Yes. I'm here. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New yeah, for a moment I didn't recognize you.
Thanks, dude.
So yeah, you're in SoCal, and South Bay is
he's a little low.
Mm-hmm.
And what Dan was saying is actually happening. I see that a lot of projects that were kind of stalled, and what I was seeing from our builders is like it was so hard to go to the city, get the permits done because of the COVID. You know, you couldn't go into the office. You had to email it. They wouldn't respond. It was just a lot of delays. That was just unnecessary. That is kind of being removed, and I see a lot of our projects are moving a lot faster. So the neighbors say like, "Wow, you guys are moving really fast now." But it's just we're just getting the green light to move forward. That's all it is. So we were just waiting for those to happen. So a lot of our projects are coming on the market, and what I'm seeing is, I'm not sure what everybody else is seeing, but a lot of like the open houses and things remind me of early 2020. Like I see lines again, and people are just like getting like overbidding to the next level. So I'm just kind of scared of what's ahead. But that's I see the 2020 on steroids in 2022. So that's what I'm seeing here in like West LA, South Bay, and San Fernando Valley. That's pretty much where I cover.
Cool. Interesting,
Thanks, man.
That's good. I'm going to do one more thing to the Clubhouse audio. It may blink for a second. I'm going to turn up the audio quality, and maybe that'll help too.
Put the needle on the record. Put the needle on the record.
There you go.
The needle on the record.
Hopefully that's better for everybody, and my phone just didn't freeze.
Dude, that comment like that Dusty made is insane to me.
Okay, we'll go to it. The one, I need a new cook.
I noticed.
Where? Oh, she said, Dusty Martin, she said, I noticed that even the high-end builders in my area are building with cheap materials. Yeah,
that's
right down to the wood they're framing with.
True. That is a true story.
So a couple of years ago, I think it was our first year into the show, we started talking about the transition from building regular to building above.
Yeah.
And for a lot of years, just like what Adam was saying, people were building about the median, and we started to feel a trend in that builders couldn't make a lot of money unless they were building higher priced homes. So with all of this affordability, let's go ahead and change the subject a little bit, but with all this affordability comes a new crisis to us. Amid rising prices, American families fall deeper in debt.
And the banks are happy.
I know, right? That's the traditional.
Like it.
As consumers pay more for everything from groceries to gasoline, household incomes are failing to keep pace with the overall cost of living, according to recent reports. Over the past 2 years, median income fell 3%, while the cost of living rose 7%, due in part to housing and medical costs.
Whoa.
Chart. Yeah. What?
Say that again.
Due to housing and
medical
costs.
No, say the whole sentence again.
Over the past 2 years, the median income fell 3%, while the cost of living rose nearly 7%, due in part to rising.
Okay, don't we have someone in place that handles this, that mediates this whole thing? That is supposed to keep this from happening.
Like a Fed or something?
Like a chunk of our government that literally just focuses on this. How has income gone down in the last 2 years? 7% up.
Last 2 years, the income has not reached what the inflation in the last, I don't know,
40 years. It's It's been happening since the Carson administration, since forever ago. If you go back to federal minimum wage and all this stuff, I'll go on for days about the federal minimum wage. But just in the last 2 years, which we've been experiencing a Rona, and now you have people finally getting back to work. I think it does cover numbers in there, Ray, that 82% are now that of jobs lost are now back. All that, I think it covers all that. But during that time when people need this more than ever, wages have gone down while the cost of living we've talked about it, inflation has gone up.
But wouldn't this be all right? So hang on. Let's take a less.
This is driving me nuts. Our government is bullshit. I can't handle it anymore, Ray. I can't.
No, let's just think about
you,
this
Dan.
in a less sensational mindset.
Okay, sorry.
housing is increased, right?
Not
Cost of
supply.
housing is increased. Why is the cost of housing increased? Well, supply issues, right? There's not enough supply.
Sure.
The other thing that's increased is medical expenses. Why would medical expenses increase during a worldwide pandemic?
Corona.
So it seems normal to me that you have massive number of layoffs and people not sure if orders are going to increase or if orders are going to stay the same. So because they're not sure, I'm not going to hire that person, or I might fire a person because I'm not sure exactly what production will be. And I'd rather just be stressed about trying to get it all done than not make enough money to survive. So I'm going to lay off some people, and I'm going to do that during a pandemic in which medical costs are rising. And because I did that and I'm a builder, I might be a little bit slower in building these homes. So that means that there's going to be less supply and housing.
There might be supply chain issues.
So what you're going to see is a slight decrease in income and an increase in the cost. This is not surprising to me. To me, I read this, I'm like, well, yeah, okay. Worldwide pandemic. So as we continue to get out of the pandemic, it seems like all that will adjust.
And I'm not going to do it because Dusty Martin's comment will come true, but I'm not going to do it. But I'm willing to bet that if you look up CEO salary over the last 2 years, I'm willing to bet it's gone up.
Increased exponentially.
Weird.
I know. Exponentially.
That's weird.
This is Dan's head explode. Dan's head may explode on air. Dusty says, and some of our builders are adjusting their contracts to state that the base price signed may not be the same at closing. Yeah, we've seen that too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just wanted to mention that article. There's a couple more articles that we're going to go through really, really quickly. I'm actually going to skip the one. There's an additional fee for high balance and second home loans. So that kind of adds to the woes of those who are in the upper tier, which I would think you'd start to see more activity in a lower tier.
And also this is for second. So if you're a client or an agent and you have clients looking for second homes, make sure they're talking to their lender.
Yeah, they need to talk to their lender about the additional fee. I did want to mention this article from Inman. It's about Realogy. So Realogy, whatever you want to say it.
Realogy.
They called on NAR to eliminate the commission sharing requirement. So this is a commission sharing requirement, not disclosure of the share. Realogy is publicly calling on the National Association of Realtors to kill a requirement that listing brokers offer commissions to buyer brokers in order to submit listings to MLS.
To submit them.
For the first time, real estate giant Realogy is publicly calling for the National Association of Realtors to end a requirement. We just read that in the subheadline. The company's position was revealed in an unsealed legal filing Thursday. Realogy, along with the National Association of Realtors ReMax, Keller Williams Home Services of America, is a defendant in multiple antitrust suits for home sellers and home buyers, and seek to have the home buyers pay the broker directly rather than have the listing broker pay the buyer from what the seller pays the listing broker.
And we've covered that ad nauseum.
Yes, we've covered this lawsuit. The change could upend the U.S. real estate industry by effectively forcing changes on how buyer agents are traditionally compensated. That issue, the NAR suits, is the NAR's participation rule, also called the buyer broker compensation rule, commission rule. Sorry, buyer broker commission rule. NAR cooperative compensation rule, that's the other name for it, which requires the listing brokers to offer commissions to buyer brokers in order to participate in realtor affiliated multiple listing services. This is a different take. This is not stated. It's not saying I don't want to reveal how much the buyer broker makes. It's saying, why should I be forced to offer to split my commission with the buyer side in order to list my my client's house in the MLS?
So they're not saying,
are you forced though? You're not really forced. You can say how much it, like for instance, in our MLS, the listing agent can get more commission than the buyer's agent. You're not forced to give them an equal split. It's just saying, the buyer's agent can get 1.5%, but I'm going to get 4.5,
right.
It states that.
Well, there's been cases in the past where someone is like given $1 to a particular company and every other company gets a normal compensation. So there's been cases and stuff like that in the past, but this is really the first where basically a big company, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, I can't remember everything else they own, is saying, hey, we don't want to participate. We don't want to split our commissions with the buyer side of the transaction.
Well,
what would they gain from that? What would be the gain of that?
So there's two ways. In one side of the coin, they could be saying this in order to say, hey, we don't want to participate in that. We don't want to do it. We want to try to keep more of our money. We want our agents to make more money. If you're a buyer and you can't afford it, sorry, screw you. Right.
Which that's a really, if that's their stance, that's really unfortunate.
That's why I think it's probably not their stance. What I think their stance is get rid of the rule that requires it and we'll still do it. But there just can't be a rule that requires it.
I think that's
because the lawsuit
but even
is about the rule that requires it.
Right. But even, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really make a difference because even when you write a contract for sale by owner, you're always writing how much you're like, if you're the buyer's agent, how much you're requesting from the seller as a commission. So, I mean, it wouldn't make a hill of beans here or there, but I mean, they would have to have a standard rule over the whole entire MLS because people aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, how much was I supposed to get? Because I don't even look at that MLS sheet with the commission. I don't know how much I'm supposed to be making until way after it's done. I'm like, oh, that was a good commission. Thank God. You know, I don't even look at it.
I line up the number of chickens and I count them all just before they hatch. That's what I do.
No, I don't even look at it. Like until I get that email from the title company that says, how much am I supposed to be paying you? I'm like, I don't know. Let me pull over that MLS sheet. I have no idea.
So it's an interesting take on it. There's the Gorman. Who's Gorman? Gorman is president and CEO of Realogy.
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 I thought it was Realogy. Every time you say it, it's making my stomach hurt.
Realogy?
It's Realogy. Realogy.
I think it's Realogy.
I think it's the real OG.
The real OG.
Anyway, Gorman said that the best thing for the seller in every case that I can imagine is to offer compensation for good work that the buyer's agents will do to bring their buyer to facilitate the transaction. I think there's tremendous evidence supporting that the market will continue to support that. And there's no reason why an offer of compensation needs to be mandatory for a home to be listed in the MLS.
He keeps saying it to be listed.
Yeah, so it's really just a mandatory component for listing a home in the MLS that we're saying is unnecessary. So it seems like that they're saying, we'll still do it. We think the market will support people still doing it. We just don't want it to be mandatory. And for that, we'd like to get out of the lawsuit.
Right. And then
this is what I think they're like, oh, no,
now,
this is what our take is.
He speaking like now do all C21. And by the way, Adam Johnson has a prediction up there. Does all C21 and all Coldwell Banker people, do they all have to go along with this? Or are they like, whoa, we're good with this. What are you doing?
That's a good question. I don't know.
And wait,
when you have the spokesmen for the company, you kind of all have to fall in line, don't you?
Right.
Oh, Vince's professionalism would be the end result of getting rid of that.
Dusty, what do I have right? What did I do right? I usually don't get that comment. So,
wait, what is it? Dan has it right. The end.
On this one or the other one?
Adam Johnson said prediction 2025 Realogy changes names of
Realogy
through 21 and whatever brands they own to Realogy Brokerage.
Realogy.
Wrong on purpose.
Realogy.
Vince says he can enter $1 co-op and they're fighting over $1.
Yeah.
Realogy.
So that's what she's saying. I don't know. I think it's a
Ryan,
weird thing to fight about. I don't know.
Seems like a waste of money.
Ryan,
why would you go through all that?
As a former employee of the company, it's Realogy.
So I used to say that, and someone else told me it was Realogy.
Yeah. No, it's Realogy. Realogy. You're right. It's not Realogy or whatever everybody else is trying to say. It's Realogy.
All right, I was wrong again.
We don't even know.
I'll make a video about how I was
Gorman
wrong.
Also,
thank you.
I don't know if maybe you saw it or you didn't see it, but he kind of backpedaled a little bit in another article to Inman that he was basically saying that it's they don't feel that it should be a requirement in order to list a home in the MLS, and he in that article he backpedaled quite a bit and tried to really make it about the lawsuit and not so much about how they feel about their agents and the clients of their agents and all of that kind of stuff. So when you got 200,000 agents under your umbrella, the spin doctor, had to come back into play.
Well, and then here's what happened. So
right there, boom.
Realogy releases that, and then Agent Slam, Realogy's call to end mandatory nature of NAR participation rule. So a day after Realogy publicly called for the National Association of Realtors to end mandatory commission sharing, real estate agents sounded off publicly on the publicly owned trading, whatever, on that company's position, saying they fear the ability to opt out could be confusing to customers, threaten buyers agents, or worse, open the door to heightened competition from search portals like Zillow or Redfin. I don't think that's not worse. Worse is causing someone that can't afford representation to not have representation in one of the largest purchases of their entire life. That's worse.
Correct.
Competition from Zillow and Redfin is not worse. I hope they enter the market because I hope people continue to see a difference in what services I provide and what they do. This is wonderful for me. It's not going to be wonderful for the bottom 80% that don't do 20% of the transactions, but it's wonderful for me.
I also think it's a really slippery slope when, someone, he's a CEO. I don't know if he was an agent, is an agent, or whatever, but when someone that primarily focused on listings, like I think most of us do, but when you comment from that point of view, like I don't work with buyers, you're really only having one side of the market. That other side of the market is pretty important. It's pretty crucial to completing the transaction, right? So you got to have both parties at hand. And I think him speaking from this point of view is a little misguided. I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't think he anticipated. I think he thought, oh, people are going to get it's just about the lawsuit. And everyone was like flipping out.
He didn't use proper CEO verbiage. He's supposed to say, I can no longer support this decision to be part of this lawsuit.
Yes, that's it. Well, Rex came out and said, oh, well, this is the end of it for everyone. That's what. When Rex did that, I was like, Kathy, I see you unmuted. You have something to add to it?
I do. I honestly think that this is motivated to move the commission for the buyer's agent to the buyer.
But it's not
I think I just think that they've been studying this, and they're saying if the full commission isn't offered, they can see that agents aren't always showing the house, and that there's been movement to bring this up in Congress to make these kind of changes.
Well,
I used to work in the travel industry, and that's exactly what they did with the commissions to the travel agents.
So it is very analogous to that. Yeah. What's happened, the way it's shaken out, it's been a lawsuit. It's taken 3 years now, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And that lawsuit has this decision as the main premise. However, they're going to have a lot of trouble. For instance, in Arkansas, the seller is the one that determines how that split is. And the seller can make a decision on what to do there. And so the seller signs off on it and says, this is what I'm going to do.
And
any
it's coming
market
from
in which the seller is deciding that, the seller can do whatever they want with how they pay commissions. So they're going to have a real problem. I don't think it'll ever go through, but I think the biggest thing that happened was what the DOJ said to do, which was make the amount of commission that the buyer agent gets paid is now publicly displayed on whatever third-party websites. That's the biggest thing to come of this. And I think that's where it's going to end, because finally the NAR president a couple of months ago, years into the lawsuit, he finally said, you know what, this would be bad for people that can't afford representation. And it would have a disparaging impact, have a disproportionate impact on those who are disparaged, whatever. It'll have an impact on those that need it most. And I think that's the stance that most realtors should take, because that's the true stance. This stuff about, it's going to let someone else in and compete with us. That's not watching out for the public. That's watching out for yourself. So,
before we move on, we're going to cover, because we're talking about a CEO, we're going to move on to more CEO stuff. Yep. And since we had very limited time with our own CEO, Kristina, do you want to say bye to her now? See if she has any closing comments and all that stuff.
Yeah, we can't. Oh yeah. It's already past 1. Sorry, Kristina. We kept you a little late.
That's all right. That's all right.
Tell everyone where they could find you if they were going to look for you and your hot take on this stuff. Besides here every week in Clubhouse and on YouTube and on Facebook, tell everybody where they can find you.
I have a website. If you want to do a collaboration with me on my YouTube channel, you can just go to KristinaSmallhorn.com. If you want to know more about YouTube, you can always get this book, and my story is in it. It's called The YouTube Formula. I'm actually, somebody wrote a book about, and I'm in it. My story's in it. So
that's pretty cool. I have that book. I actually want to get you to sign my book one day. Whenever we meet.
Oh, shut up! Oh,
no, I do. God. I think it's so cool.
So stupid.
No, it's cool.
I'll do it, but I mean, like,
and just to pump her up even more, if you weren't at the beginning of the show when she jumped on with us, she's got, as a real estate agent, over 140,000 followers. 163,000. Sorry, they're not followers on YouTube. They're subscribers. And over 23 million total views on her channel. That's fantastic.
Yeah. That's only about 23 million more than we have. So very good.
Yes. And I can say that half of those views were just from the one show that I did with her. So you're welcome.
15,000 views. That's nothing to sneeze at, dude. You did great. Ellen, Mr. Man, you had some hot takes on my channel, and boy, oh boy, that made some discourse on my channel. It was awesome. I think I even got about the same with Ray as well.
I'm gonna have to find our show, because now I'm curious how many people watched it. Do you know? Do you remember?
Oh no, I like once they're done, they're done.
Yeah, I don't look back at those numbers.
I don't look back. Well, thank you so much.
My last video is 50,000 views, man. I'm pretty happy about that.
That's amazing. We have like
24 hours,
so we're almost there.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us.
One more thing though. Yeah. If you are a real estate agent or a lender and you want to know more about YouTube, I actually have a group with Malcolm Lawson, and it's called YouTube Real Estate Mastermind. Please join it. It's free. Nobody's going to be trying to push you to buy anything. It's really fun. And if you really do want to build a YouTube presence and do it organically through YouTube, just come join the group. We have a lot of great people in there.
Yeah, that's good. We'll drop that link also in the description, so you can find all the links to find Kristina and all of her stuff and get that book. It's an amazing book. So thank you, Kristina, for joining us. We will see you next time.
Thank you, my dears.
Bye,
I appreciate ya.
All right. So let's talk about a couple of changes in CEOs. I'm going to go through these next articles pretty fast, Dan, because I got to go too.
And then we're going to talk about the most powerful person in all of real estate. So
we still have the story of the most powerful person in real estate.
The single most powerful person in real estate. Who is it? Give your guesses. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, give us your guesses.
Yeah, drop your guesses in the comments. All right, so first, new CEO for Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Companies announced this week that CEO Jay Farner has stepped down away from his role as Rocket Mortgage CEO to assume the role of CEO of Rocket Central, the mortgage company's fintech platform.
So he's
not gone.
No,
he's just in a different position.
By the way, Ray, do you know what fintech is?
Yes.
Just to explain it, because I knew, but I didn't really know. I looked it up.
No, you did. Financial tech.
Technology added into financial stuff.
Yeah. That's any of the financial services industry that's getting revolutionized by tech. The buzzword is fintech.
Fintech, yeah.
Yeah. Bob Walters, COO of both Rocket Companies and Rocket Mortgage, has stepped into the role of CEO of Rocket Mortgage. So basically, Rocket Companies and Rocket Mortgage, Rocket Companies owns all of them, right? So Farner assumed his role January 1st, according to the press release, and will retain his role as CEO of Rocket Companies, the parent company for both Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Central. So he's moving up. Bob Walters going from CEO. Wait, that doesn't make sense. So there are two CEOs right now of Rocket Mortgage? I don't know. Anyway, we just wanted to mention that because the headlines were like new CEO, and he's just moving around. They're just moving things, shaking things up a little bit. It's not like a big deal.
Yeah.
Now the other one. So this is a friend of a show, a guy that's been on our show in the past. Really cool guy, and I really liked having him on the show. Actually, Adam Contos. He's set to depart ReMax, and Stephen Joyce is named the interim CEO.
Really?
Now, are you at ReMax, Dan?
Yeah, that's I absolutely love being here. I never thought I'd love being part of a big company, but I absolutely love it. And he's
hot take on it. Let me read his comments. He said, serving as CEO of ReMax Holdings has been a high point of my nearly 20 years with the company. Kanto said in a statement, I'm proud of everything we accomplished, especially given to the dynamic changes in our industry and society. It's been my sincere pleasure to work with our excellent leadership team and employees, as well as some of the most dedicated, productive, and entrepreneurial professionals in the real estate mortgage industries. I thank them for their friendship, support, and contributions. I'm confident the future is bright for our company, and for our two incredible networks. Let's see. Where is he going? Do you know? Does it say?
He's just going off to do more entrepreneurial stuff and to help more people kind of have that spirit. So it looks like he's going to start his own kind of contracting firm or something. It's what I think. We will try because we've had him on the show before. Yeah. And at the beginning of the Rona, I was doing, and sorry for my voice here, but at the beginning, kind of through the Rona in 2020, I would do Friday night Zoom calls, and he was on a couple of them. He jumped on and was just crazy with all of us. It was amazing. He's a really great guy. So I'm really bummed because, you know, he got it. We weren't in a, you know, he got us in a really good direction, really positive direction, because he managed to really make it about us, the agents. But the reason behind it was so we could take that and make it about our clients, which is the entire reason we should be doing this. You know, it's great to make a lot of money and sell a lot of houses, but it should really be about the clients. And that's what he really focused on. And he really focused on our mental health and our physical health and how to be better as an agent, be better as a human, and then just really carry that on to our clients and the importance of the client. You know, they're the keystone to the entire industry and how important they are. And I loved that, man. I thought he was, you know, amazing in his trajectory. He's a relatively young man. So his trajectory towards CEO with Dave Liniger he's the main dude that started ReMax. It's a really cool story. He's got a great story, and he's a really awesome dude. So I wish him the best of luck, but I'm kind of bummed, you know, that whoever is in his footsteps has really, really big shoes to fill.
I can hear you broken up about it.
Yeah. That's why my voice is messed up, because I'm sad.
Because it's sad.
Yeah.
All right. So let's drop some guesses. I don't see any in the comments. So if you're watching the show live, drop a guess. Who do you think is the most powerful man or woman in real estate?
Can I give you a hint? They love playing guitar on stage. They love it.
They just gave it away. I think everyone knows now. I think everyone knows now.
Let's go.
Let's go right to it. Even without the guesses, Gary Keller
Boom.
is named the most powerful person in real estate. Dun, dun, dun. So it's been nearly 4 decades since Gary founded Keller Williams. But in all those years, a real estate firebrand, his influence remains strong, so strong that Tuesday morning he managed to nab the top spot on the latest Swamp Hole Power 200 ranking of industry leaders. So there it is. We just wanted to mention that. We think it's funny.
Well, and
I don't know why though. I mean,
I started my career there. And I think it was an amazing idea to start there. I learned so much and I got so much knowledge so quickly, and he just seems like a rad dude. So why not throw him up there?
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay. He's got one of the biggest companies under him. So
yeah.
Let's see.
But it's crazy though, that it's not, and I know, Rex was mentioned. Who's the other one that everyone thinks they make money, but they don't really? The pyramid scheme. Which one?
Zillow, I don't. Let me read this.
They came from Keller Williams. What are they called? EXP. He was mentioned, but it's surprising that all these tech forward companies are still behind. KW, right?
This is not the first time KW has taken the crown. In fact, he's remained in the top 5 every year since the rankings debuted in 2014. However, last year, Zillow co-founder and CEO Rich Barton scored the number 1 spot in the rankings. Barton fell to 6th place this year. Dun, dun, dun.
They've had a rough go of it the last few months. So
yeah,
maybe that's getting again though, man, if you're gonna change some things, and I hate to have Zillow's back, but if you're gonna change the world, you got to break some eggs. And I think their iBuying program was a giant egg they had to break.
Yeah. Just wanted to mention in Clubhouse, my friend David Hill joined. Hey, David, thanks for joining the show.
Hey, David.
We're just about to end the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me up.
EXP a pyramid scheme, man.
Oh yeah, well, no, the running joke on the show is that because we talk about it a lot, and there's always people that comment about it being whatever schemes and all that kind of stuff. So we just joke about it. So not serious, but let's see, what place did he make it? Dan, did you see it on there?
Who?
Glenn. On the Swalpool most powerful.
The Zillow?
No. The EXP group.
I thought it was like 3. And that might not be him. That might be EXP himself.
Who said number 2?
Number 2.
Number
yeah,
2.
They were up there.
So Keller was, which is interesting, the rivalry between those two groups.
Because EXP came from Keller Williams. They just took their model.
And then Real, that's going to be the next one up there because they kind of took the EXP model and they're doing their own thing now.
Yeah.
So they broke off. It's interesting. Maybe Dan, one day we'll be up there.
Yeah. And
most powerful is
Adam. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely. Adam's right as well.
What Adam say? Wait.
KW is a multi-level marketing company too.
All at the top, man. That's the way to get there, apparently.
Yeah. No, it's great. Again, it's great for the agent. Great for the agent. That's awesome.
Yeah, David Hill said it is interesting that they're both number 1 and 2. They got a bunch of people.
Wait, can I ask a question? Why does he's got a little pin or balloon next to his?
Oh, is this your anniversary, David?
Yeah, apparently.
Hey, happy Clubhouse anniversary, man.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't realize that. You're joining our show on your anniversary.
For people with EXP.
It's just an EXP balloon. Well, it should be a ReMax balloon, actually.
ReMax,
yeah. I know. I want to get my ReMax balloon on there.
Yeah. Oh, look, Roy, he's got one too. Happy anniversary, Roy.
There you go.
See you down there in the.
Wow.
Well, thanks everybody for joining the show. Busy day of news today. We had Kristina Smallhorn on there. If you missed it, you want to go back and watch this one. I would suggest not listening to the replay on Clubhouse, but finding it on our podcast because the replay is going to have a blank spot in there when Clubhouse died out. So check the podcast for sure. You can find it by searching This Week in Real Estate or Bearded Men of Real Estate, and you'll find it. Subscribe to that. Please leave us a review on there so that other people can find it too if you found any of this information valuable. Don't hesitate to take anything that we say and make your own show, just like Kristina Smallhorn did. You'll probably do better than we are. So Dan, before we leave, can you tell everyone where they can find you?
DLUDWIGROCKS DLUDWIGROCKS everywhere, but pretty much just Instagram. If you're looking for real estate content, you're not going to really find it. I think real estate content is boring. I market that. I market that stuff to people that are going to buy or sell, not to my friends on Instagram, but I post some interesting stuff. Where can
I plaster all kinds of real estate stuff on my Instagram, which is RAYZORBACK. Everywhere good Razorbacks are sold out. So thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Go Dogs.
See you next time. Go Hogs. You meant go Hogs. Clearly.
Sorry, Ray. Sorry, buddy. Love
Matt
you.
Lamarche, when he